Hey, you're right. We're up to 8E, which is measures of spread. Now, we've already worked on what average is, what median is, and what mode is. Now we're looking at something else we can use to sort of measure the data. And as it says here, it's measuring how spread out these numbers are. So if we look at these two examples that I've got up the top here, we've got a certain set of numbers and another certain set of numbers. But if you guys use your skills to work out what the average and median is for each of them, you'll find out that the average and median is both 20 for this set of data, but it's also both 20 for this set of data. Now that seems a little bit funny when we have, with this set, the lowest is 17, the highest is 23. And with this one, the lowest is 9 and the highest is 35. Hopefully we can see that the span between the lowest and the highest for this one is bigger than the span for this one. Okay, so we would say that this set is more spread out than that one. Okay, because the difference from the lowest to the highest here is only 6, whereas the difference for this one, it looks like it's 26. Okay, so there's a fair bit of difference with those two. Now we're looking at two different ways to measure spread. And as it said with this dot point here, we can use the range and the interquartile range. Now I'm going to show you what each of those ones are. Now I've got a couple little formulas that we can use to find out what the range is, so you'll be practicing using this, and also the interquartile range, which you'll be practicing using this formula and these steps as well, which we'll go over in a second. But I just want to show you how data can be spread out as a bit of a continuum, which I might draw down here. So if we pretend all our numbers are on a bit of a continuum, it could be this line here. This one would be our lowest and this one would be our highest. So we could say this is our lowest value. And up here we could say this is our highest value. Now if we look right in the middle of this data, halfway that is, that's where we're going to find our median, which we already know about. The median's that middle number. But we're going to find out a couple more things now. Instead of just halfway, we're going to find out a quarter of the way. And we're also going to find out 3/4 of the way. Now, just like these three have kind of special names, these two have special names as well. So this is 1/4 up. So that means it's the lower quartile. And this one over here is the upper quartile. Okay, so we're going to be finding each of these two things. Now let's talk about range for a second. The range, as we can see if we look up here, it's going to be our highest value minus our lowest value. So we might find our highest value up here, then we take the lowest away from it. And the interquartile range, or IQR, it's the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So that means this one minus that one. So if I was going to show each of them, I could show that this span here, from here to here, so from the first quarter to the third quarter, that's the interquartile range because it's between the quarters. And then the full range, or just the range, is from the lowest to highest. So from there to there is the range. Okay, so hopefully that's another way that we can look at it to maybe understand a little bit better. But we're going to do an example to give us a bit of practice. Now, we can go through these steps soon, but I just want to read out our example first. So it wants us to find the range and the interquartile range for the following. So here's our set of numbers. Now to find the range, we need to find the highest value and the lowest value. Okay, so range equals the highest minus the lowest. Now these, we're lucky, are already in order. So hopefully you can see by looking at all these numbers, the highest value is 10, and we need to take away the lowest value, which is 1. So that means our range is going to be, we can all do 10 minus 1, 9. Okay, so that's a little bit more straightforward than finding the interquartile range, which we'll do now. Okay, so to find the interquartile range, so the distance between each quarters, we have to follow these steps here. So the first step would be to arrange the numbers in numerical order. That's already done for us. We don't have to do that. But if they were all jumbled up, we would have to put them in order. The second step, break them into two equal groups. So I can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 numbers and I need two equal groups. All right, so that would mean two groups of 5, wouldn't it? So I've got one of my groups here and there's my other group there. Okay, I've done step 2. Now it's asking to find the median of the higher group. Okay, this is the higher group. We want to find the middle number. That would be this one here. We've just found the upper quartile. So that number there is our upper quartile. And now we need to find the median of the lower group. This is our lower group and the median is the middle number, which is here. So that number there is our lower quartile. All right. Now, what we need to do is use our formula though. So our RQR, interquartile range, is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So RQR equals the upper quartile, that was 9, minus the lower quartile, which is 4. So our interquartile range is 5. So that's the sort of thing you guys are going to be doing as part of those questions. So have a go at those ones and let me know if you need a hand.